You were a friend of the Decepticons. Sure, they knew you were Lucifer's child, but they didn't mind. Blitzwing enjoyed poking fun at the fact that you had horns. You knew that none of them really meant what they said, aside from one crazy called him cute. Lugnut just ignored the fact that you had any relation to any sort of evil, too. He oftentimes just cuddled with you. Starscream didn't actually know that you were related to Lucifer, but you knew that Megatron himself made sure that Starscream didn't know. One day, since your father had let you hang out on the surface with the cons, you knew full well that something was off. You often had to sneak out or get permission from your mother, who was an actual demon, just to get allowed to go see the cons. You knew someone was watching. So, when you get to the cons base, you immediately alert them that someone may be watching. Not by flat out saying it, but saying it in binary code. Since Shockwave, another one of the cons you had met, had often taught you random bits of Cybertronian or binary. And they had all nodded. After a while, and you see your father just watching from the bushes. So you just go up to Blitzwing, since hot-headed mode is active. Then you calmly say, I wouldn't recommend trying to stab something, or blow something up for that matter. Then he says in an irritated voice, why shouldn't I? We both know that won't end very well. Then you motion towards the bush. And then Icy takes control so that nothing bad happens. And then he says, well, thank you, listener, for that useful information. Shall we warn the others? Then you shake your head and say, no, hot-headed's the only one we need to worry about. The others are often relaxed, and you know that. Then he nods and brings you back to the base, since at the time it was a more or less sparring session. After a little while, you would notice that your father had once again followed you and somehow gotten into the lair. So you flat out refused to make yourself able to be seen. But your horns and tail are both out, and your wings are folded up against your back. Since Lucifer was a fallen angel, of course you had wings. And after a bit, and since Shockwave had just come by, he was calmly petting your wings and speaking in binary code to you. You knew he oftentimes enjoyed just trying to confuse the others by talking to you in a language they didn't think you could understand. After a while, your father had gotten bored and left, so you were more relaxed. After a bit, you say to the boys, I hope you all realize I love you, right? They're all blushing, and Blitzwing's faces are swapping in and out every, millisecond. You can tell they're probably getting a little bit dizzy, so you have them sit down. After a while, since they had all calmed down, they were kind of surprised that you hadn't told them sooner, but they figured it was more or less a safety thing, or a you were scared to tell them sort of thing. After a few weeks of you and them dating, you had finally decided to tell Lucifer and your mother. Then, well, your mother's overly supportive, as she usually is of things. However, Lucifer isn't. He doesn't like the idea of his child not ending up married into royalty, because he thinks only the best is needed for his child. But you think that the cons are the best. After a while, and Lucifer had noticed that you hadn't come home, your mother was completely fine with it. In fact, she told him that she had allowed you to stay the night with the cons, so long as you promised to be home by 6 the next day. Not 6 a.m., 6 p.m., since she knew you did not like mornings. Lucifer wasn't thrilled, but he allowed it since his wife let you, so you couldn't do much. After a while, and you're just cuddling with the cons, you had given them each a kiss. Then you say, I love you guys. Then they all say in practically the same way that they love you back. And you all fall asleep while cuddling.